Why do I believe in the goodness of humans? The fact is, I don't. I think humans can be very cruel, they can be mean, and they can do all sorts of psychopathic and sociopathic things that are just not fun and not cool. But why do I always emphasize the goodness in other people and try to stress this in my life and stress positivity and focus on as much as I possibly can the encouragement to keep people going? The reason is that I know that the rest of the world doesn't believe that. And so for me, this is my competitive advantage. This is how I distinguish myself and make sure that I'm doing something different than what everybody else is doing and how the rest of the world is doing it. If I was to be negative and pessimistic all the time, I would get eaten up, just like you, just like everybody else. So I tried to focus on all of the positive things in my life. And I think about, how do entrepreneurs, how do innovators actually see the world? And why do they actually see things that we don't see? And I strongly believe, and I don't know if there's a heck of a lot of information on this, but I strongly believe that they have a very positive view of the world, that they can connect things and see things that we can't see, that there are just unique things that are there, and they view. Most of the world will see all these problems all over the place, right? That's easy to see the problem, but the more interesting thing, the thing that's actually going to get us from here to there is when you see all of the solutions, you see all of the positives, you see everything around us that could be amazing. I think about, we might think about things like, oh man, drunk driving is horrendous and it's awful. I'm just giving you this an example, and it is, right? It's terrible. I don't like that. But if you look at long run trends, I was just looking at this today. You look at long run trends of the number of traffic fatalities that have occurred per the amount of driving that's happened. And it is minuscule today compared to even 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I know that there's these long run patterns that happen that are absolutely very positive, and yet we forget about them all the time. We think about all the negative things. We think of the things that eat us up, and we focus on those particular things because that's human nature. There's a really good paper that is yet to be refuted. The guy's probably going to end up he's done very well with it. Baumeister is the guy's last name. There's some controversy with a couple of other ideas that he's had, but this is a really good idea where he wrote with his students that bad is stronger than good. And it is. We focus on the negative things because we're biologically programmed to focus on those things. Rather than viewing the world in this negative sense, you have to fight the world, and you have to constantly give yourself encouragement. Say just as many positive things as you can, where you just simply say, I could do this. And the fact is, often you can, right? If you look at it and you've seen all the number of times that I've said, I can't do this is impossible. But if you stick with it for a long time, you often can. And, here's the thing, even if you don't, right? You get to the moment where you've done this thing for so long, you can know that you actually have tried so long that you have outpaced, outstripped whatever, everybody else that would have done the same thing. And you can say, I'm that person that did that. How crazy is that? Isn't that cool? Isn't that a goal in of itself? So when we look at companies, there's two goals we look at. There's many goals we look at, but two really important goals. There's one, the performance of today and how they're performing today. And then the other one is survivorship, how long that they actually stay. And those two things, they are often looked at in very interesting ways. But we know that often you can't perform as well today to perform very well in the future. It's kind of a well-known trade-off, right? And to survive, you need to sort of not consume all of your things, all of your resources today. So we just keep persisting at that. But in order to know that you can do this, you don't have to be full out, but you have this survivorship. that you can survive much longer than everybody else. You have to have that in your mind, that you're optimistic, that you can do this, and you're just going to keep doing it every day. You're going to grind away, and everybody else is going to look at you and think that you're crazy and who is this person? Like, he's crazy, or she is crazy, or whatever, they is crazy, right? Like, and yet, you know what other options do we have? We can either sit there, be pessimistic, look at the world and say that the world is going to fall apart tomorrow, and likely, chances are it might be. But then you can also say it's going to be just the same today, and I'm going to make a little bit of a difference today. And then tomorrow we'll get up and it'll be the same day, but it'll be just a little better than what it was. And I view that option. I view looking at the world in that way. So I think, just remember, the world does get better often. Even though that you don't think so in your head right now, it does often get better. It just takes a great deal of time, a great deal of effort, and you do eventually get there. Time and time again. Just keep going. Just keep going. All right, take care. Have a wonderful day.